Hey guys, good morning. Happy Fire Friday. I'm so pumped that you guys are here to hang out with us, learning about agent attraction and how to fund your reason on the eXp Realty platform. Every week we talk agent attraction on Fridays, and we talk about how to take advantage of all of the different income streams and possibilities here at eXp. And I've got a few years of recruiting under my belt, like 25-ish. However, I'm a one-trick pony, right? I am who I am and how I am, for good and bad. So we bring in all of these other talented people who are out there doing it in different ways and have learned different things on their paths. So every week we bring in some kind of rock star who is doing cool stuff, and you get to hear from other people, and you may find that their style resonates with your style. And they also say when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And so, keep your brains open, your minds open, your hearts open, take some notes. And so I'm super excited today. Someone that I have had on my list, but he's been busy doing things like getting married and stuff like that, traveling, and his daughter got married. So he's been out there having fun, but Randy's been on my list to get on our show, and we had a last minute, and I said, hey man, what do you think? So he was able to shuffle his schedule around and jump on, which we greatly appreciate. Because guys, you're in for a treat. You can see on his name there, it's Coach Randy Byrd. Randy has been coaching people and teaching people how to sell real estate, how to build great lives, how to build their sales, and how to understand themselves and the process and their clients and all that kind of stuff. So a very broad and holistic approach, but very practical, action focused as well. But Randy has also quickly become one of the top growth leaders in all of eXp Realty. He's out in Oregon right now, and he's got the largest group in Oregon. He's over 1,500 agents in his organization. So those of you that are, I just saw Rick's face, those of you that are actively working at this, you understand that 1,500 does not come easy. It doesn't come easy, but it can be done. And so Randy's going to show us, kind of what he did, what his mindset is, but he also coaches people on how to do this. And so he's got some really, really amazing stuff. So my brother, Randy, thank you so much for being here, man. I'm going to let you take it away and man. Let's have some fun.
You know what's amazing is, thank you for having me first, Dave and Kristen. But I was just looking at my board before we started. I'm at 1175, not 1,500, but my goal at the end of the year is 1,500. So you just manifested that.
There you go. Done.
In the statement. So I love that. And when I started on this journey, I was coaching for Tom Ferry. I was in the real estate space, coaching two guys that did over 1,000 transactions a year. My avatar was about a $250,000 a year real estate agent. So really guys that were, and ladies that were committed to their real estate businesses, and I realized that as I started finding this path for myself in coaching, I started coaching for one of really two reasons, which was that geographical freedom. I can coach from anywhere in the world, right? And back in my delusion back 10 years ago was like, if I coach anywhere there's a Zoom, I can coach anywhere in the world, and I can travel the world, and I can do all this stuff. And there's truth to it. And I remember now getting about 38, 40 clients with Tom Ferry, which is a full load. And I remember we went to Hawaii for 10 days with my family, and I coached 2 days a week. So in that 10 days, I had 4 days of coaching. And I just remember sitting in that room for 8 hours, looking out the glass doors of my family, either getting ready to go to the beaches for the day or playing and frolicking out in the pool and just having a whole day out there. And I'm like, this is not what I thought it would be, right? I'm still tied to the chair. And I really started focusing on more time and financial freedom. So time and financial freedom is really a gift. And back in my journey, when I was, one of the top Remax guys, and Keller Williams came to town, and I know Dave, we've all had our conduit through Keller Williams. It's a great company. And I think it was the best company back then. I really do. And when you looked at it, the thing that was attractive to me was profit share. Profit share was a really, really attractive component for me. And that was the difference maker. I was already 100% commission at Remax. Why would I join? And all these other things. But this promise of profit share was really a game changer, difference maker for me, of that quest for that time and financial freedom. In my opinion, profit share is broken. There's so many different ways that profit share has to happen that they're struggling with the profit share component of it. So when I looked at this model the very first time with with Brent Gove and literally Rob Flick showed it to me live, and it was like an hour and 45-minute presentation. And for a high D, that was like an hour and 27 minutes too long. But as I'm watching this information, that light bulb hit me, right? Hopefully I'm going to turn a light bulb on for you guys today. That's why I'm here. I want to try, and I think Dave really described it perfectly, is you can hear it 1,000 different ways, and all of a sudden something resonates with you, something changes, and that switch is flipped, and that switch doesn't on flip, right? And so I'm hoping to bring you that today. I apologize for my allergies. I'm in Oregon. There is a sign a mile from my house that says grass seed capital of the world. I did not see that shit when I pulled into town, because there must have been a U-Haul driving in front of the sign as I went by, because I would not have bought a house here. I've been here 7 years now in Corvallis, Oregon, Albany, and I met my soulmate here. So there's a whole bunch of good things that come from it. But if allergy was a Olympic sport, I'd have gold medals hanging around my neck where I couldn't even stand up straight. It's just that bad. So if I'm choking and my eyes are watering, I love you. I'll probably cry, but it's most likely going to be the allergies. So, Dave, I don't know how your flow is for this. I can easily just drop value, and I think bring things to them that are going to be tangible, equitable, measurable in their businesses, really tactics and components of attraction. But it's your show, man. I want to help you and support you where I can. But what's the best way for me to add value to everybody?
I've learned to never step in front of a train when it's going full speed, brother. So,
all right, brother,
you do your thing. And if you ever want to say, hey, do you want me to go here or here? Just pop in. Cool. I'm hanging out and taking notes myself. So run with it.
And I'll leave a little time for Q&A at the end. So if anybody has anything, you can raise your hand. You're not going to disrupt me. It's fine. I do this every day. And I want to bring value to you guys and you ladies here on the call.
Awesome.
So let's start with this. This gift that we have, this RevShare 2.0, is just a shot in the arm, right? It's just, they've removed all the boundaries. And when they came out with the Accelerate program that basically wiped away the first 3 levels for a year, I was like, holy shit, this is a game changer, right? This is an absolute game changer, but it was only for the new people. And all the people that were already slaving, already working, already really, working in the salt mine, it didn't really affect them. And so I'm really, really happy that they rolled out this to make it, all hands on deck, where everybody gets it, the rank and file, not just the leaders in the company, not just the new people. It's really, really special. With that said, you've got an opportunity that's in front of you that if you don't take it, you're going to have regret. You're going to have regret in 3 and 5 and 10, or maybe the rest of your life. And so I'm just asking you, for this time that we're together, just open your mind up a little bit to possibility. If you're crushing it, I'm not talking to you. If you're here because you're motivated and you want to keep motivated and you're plugging in and you're doing your stuff and you're enrolling 4, 5, 6, 7 people a month, this you might find value in this. But really, I'm talking to the one that knows they have more in their belly. They have more in their gas tank. They haven't figured it out yet. They're watching all these leaders do well. They're going to the events. They're sitting in the front row of Cabo, and they just aren't doing it. And I'm going to tell you what it is that creates this. And from now, I have, 20,000 plus hours coaching, 10,000 in agent attraction alone now over the last 5 years. And, we'll talk about some of the things I do later, but it's not about that. It's about you. And it's about the message today that if we could just tip the scale a tiny bit to get you into an understanding of what's going on for you, I think that could be a difference maker in your attraction journey. So number one, and it's kind of inverted for me because I listed like the 5 things I think I can impact the crowd the most with Dave, and what we're going to do today. And by the way, Dave's a legend. You guys are so lucky to have Dave, and Dave's been one of those North Stars for me in EXP. True story. There's probably 2 or 3 guys in the whole company that have been a North Star for me: Brent Gove, Dave Conord, and maybe a couple others are in that running. But Dave's literally one of those guys that impacted the direction of EXP. I still have pirates and stuff all over my office from our journey together during those times. And I just appreciate his leadership. But this servant leadership is what makes the company different. This latent effect, I call it. Latent heat is heat that you can't see. Like when water goes from 211 to 212, when it goes from 208 to 209 to 210 to 211, it's measurable. It's 1 British thermal unit, BTU, right? I was an AC guy in college and in the Coast Guard. So that energy that it takes to move it up 1 degree is equal, measurable, all the way until it gets to 211 degrees. And then it takes like 7 to 8 times the energy to increase it that 1 degree, because it's changing the state of water into steam. And this is called the latent heat effect. It's the amount of measurable heat, but you can't see it. It's there. It has to happen, but you cannot see it. It's hard to look at it. It's hard to tangibly say, what's going on here? Why is it taking so much energy to do this thing? And I believe that we're looking at the same kind of thing in our businesses, right? There's this latent effect that is there for us, but we have to be understanding of it. The latent effect for me is the collaboration and cooperation through this company. It's that pillar that is really, really incredible. But enough of this. Let's get kind of tactical. So the first thing for me is call reluctance is the number one thing that's going on for everybody on this call. And by the way, it's everybody. I even have call reluctance. If you elevate who I'm talking to, or if you change it to who I'm talking to, if I'm talking to somebody that I'm not proficient in, commercial is a good example. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I know they're going to ask questions I don't know the answer to. They're going to judge me because I don't know. I'm not talking the same language to them. Call reluctance is such a big deal. And whether it comes from when we were little, when our parents told us, don't talk to strangers, or don't answer the phone, or whatever it may be, we've circled ourselves around a moat of protection. Now we have to, because the world has changed, right? We literally have caller ID. We have call blocking. We have posts, no soliciting, no trespassing. It's everywhere around us. And if we could, we all would put a moat of water around our house and let the drawbridge down when we come home and lift it up when we get home. It's just the way we have to operate now. And now with the amount of spam calls and all these things, right? We have this preconceived, triggered notion that we have to protect ourselves from the noise. And it's true. 50, 60,000 impressions a day in advertising and all these other components. We feel the same way. When you get that call about a car warranty, or you get that call and you could tell that they're in a call center in the Philippines and they're asking you about health insurance, how much attention do you give that? And that's just because we have to protect ourselves. Yeah. But on the other side of this is call reluctance. And it's the fear of judgment. It's the fear of failure. It's the fear of not being good enough. All this stuff comes up from probably early years in your life. And if we identify that, if we can wrap our arms around that, it changes everything. What about if I could wave a magic wand and make it where you literally have a DNA gene in your body that you just have no fear around call reluctance? What's possible? Right? We all know expired calls can be extremely valuable. And I've coached people into hundreds of transactions a year from zero and expired calls. But nobody likes to get beat up and told off and all these things, right? The same thing's happening in EXP. We've got this massive opportunity, this massive excitement, but we don't know how to share it. And, again, I'm a coach, so I'm going to just kind of hit you in the mouth with it today. I'm doing it with love. But the reality is we're EXPing on people, and we're using our excitement trying to deliver this information to them without getting to know them. There's no way somebody can call me and ask me about health insurance and they're going to get more in 3 seconds with me. And so there's a way to have this, right? And what's the cool thing about EXP is, how many objections there are to the complete EXP model altogether? All of my coaches, I have 6 coaches that focus on agent attraction specifically. And we tried to label every single one. We came up with less than 16 total. I call it more like 12, right? The dirty dozen. I love my broker. It's a pyramid scheme. It's not going to work. It's a penny stock back in the day. All the things that are the objections you're going to get. If we labeled all those down, there's less than 16 total that are not related to each other, right? And so let's call it 12. In my opinion, there's a couple that kind of overflow, but there's only 12 objections. What if you got to be a master in each one of those objections? What if you were able to say, dude, I can't wait for that objection to come up? Or do you cringe and move around it a little bit, or it's coming, you don't feel good about it? More importantly, you're only, out of a scale of 1 to 10, you're only a 2 or 3 in that area, right? You're sitting here looking at me. It's true. I have my areas that I'm still a 2 or 3 in. That's not true. I'm pretty high. I'm off the scale on a lot of my areas. I've embraced EXP at a great level. But I look at, sometimes we look at people like Brent and Jay Kinder and all that, and we're like, that's not possible. How did they do it? They got in early. All these other objections come up and stories we can create, right? Again, I'm just being real. I'm saying the things that you'd say to yourself that sometimes you don't say in public. But call reluctance is such a big thing. So you've got to figure it out what it is for you. And my opinion is find yourself a partner. I'm not advocating coaching. I don't have coaching available. So this is not a coaching call, right? This is just trying to add value of what I've learned. And Dave and I talked about the things that would impact you the most. And we record this so others can, live through that information at a later time. If we can find a way to convey our message shortly and powerfully, and then be unattached to the outcome, things will be a happy life for you. It's when we attach the outcome, when we're waiting for that objection, when something's happening that is changing our motivation to do so, or if we're easily, if somebody says this is just a pyramid scheme, or my friend went to EXP and then they came back, and all these things that come up. If we have a little hint of believing that, then that's going to affect us. That's going to get us into a posture where we're like, man, I knew this is not going to work, or I knew this was tough. I'm going to try and help you guys today really understand that you literally are 3 feet from gold. When you understand that you're in a gold mine and you just haven't found the right vein of gold yet, and you have to keep digging that story of perseverance. I think for me, those kind of ideas are what is it most important. Like my belief, I didn't have the belief in the beginning. I saw the vision. I saw the Uber of the taxi cab world. I saw Netflix. I understood it all, but it was Brent Gove that I kept plugging into that raised my belief. I was leaning on his belief, right? So number one today, if you don't have the belief, start leaning on somebody else's that is incredibly high. Dave, I know his is high. He's a 10 in belief, right? 100%. I'm a 10 in belief, 100% 10 in belief. And as we grow this, we can understand what's going on in the other side of the conversations with the agents, right? So Dave, you're a 10 in belief, right? Let me ask you something. Let's role play real quick.
All right.
Hey, Dave, I've got a brand new company. It's called XYZ Real Estate. They're revolutionizing the real estate business. I was wondering if I can have, 30 to 60 minutes of your time to explain it to you. Now you're open-minded, but you're a 10 in your belief, right? You love your broker, you're 10 in your belief. How do I get through that?
I'm not really interested in going anywhere or anything like that. I like you, Randy. I can, give you a couple minutes maybe to listen to what you have to say, just out of respect for you. But I just want you to know ahead of time, I'm not really looking to do anything.
Yeah, I totally appreciate that. So does this sound normal? Does it sound like what everybody says when you call them? Right. So now if I go, I'm going to exaggerate both directions. Hey, Dave, you don't understand. Your broker is old fashioned. I know you love it there, but you don't know what you don't know. I want to just set away maybe a short 60 minutes to show you some videos and to really explain how amazing XYZ company is on you.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I've got time for all that, man. If you want to give me a couple things, shoot them over, maybe just send me an email or something like that. And
well, I respect that, Dave. I've always respected you in business. And do you have stocks where you're at now?
Yes.
You do. And do you have revenue share, any kind of ownership in your business?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to see the best thing on the planet? We're the fastest growing company in the history of real estate. We have more agents in the world than anybody ever in history.
So what does that do for you?
Okay, so pause. You can see the temperature of this, right?
Uh-huh.
I want you to think of it like you have an unattachment to him joining yet. You just want to stay in curiosity with Dave. And so I'm going to ask a couple more questions so you can see how this can unfold differently. Hey, ring, ring. Hey, Dave, Randy Byrd. Listen, I've respected you in business, and I know you've been over at, your company for a long time. I just joined another company, XYZ, and I was wondering, number one, are you open-minded? Would you be willing to hear what I'm up to and just maybe take a look at what we're doing and why it may be different? It may be beneficial to you in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not looking to go anywhere, so, I'm happy where I am, and we've got a pretty good thing going, but, I've always respected you as well. So, I'll listen to what you have to say if you can keep it
Dave,
quick.
you got a great thing going, by the way. You guys are crushing it in business. That's why, I'm reaching out to you. I want to really lock in with like-minded individuals. And I think all ships rise with the rising tide. I think the top agents are, it's a weird industry right now. So my question is this, you're happy where you're at. I'd like you to stay there. You're not allowed to leave, but I would like to show you what I'm doing and keep it as a backup plan. We work in the real estate business. The value of a backup offer. Let me give you a backup offer potentially. Let that baby sit on your desk, collect dust. I'm okay with it, right? But if anything ever changes, they change the model, the broker retires, the company consolidates, Compass is buying a lot of companies, whatever that looks like, I'd love to have the conversation with you. And just so you understand, would that be respectful for you?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay. So how would you rate Dave hot, warm, cold right now? And you're muted. So
he's warm, I think.
I'd say warm.
I'd say warm. Yep. I say warm. Agreed. Open-minded. So I want you guys to understand how to classify these conversations as we go, right? If he says anything like, hey, your timing's really interesting because my broker just gave us a new ICA and I'm not really thinking I'm going to sign this. Or, hey, I'm really sick and tired of watching these other companies do these things and I'm interested. Those are all hot. Those are all now conversations. You don't follow up with that in a week or two, right? But for the texture of this conversation, I want you to immediately be able to identify cold, warm, and hot because you're going to meet them in where they are differently. All right. So we're talking to a warm. So I'm going to say, and by the way, as soon as he acknowledges that he wants to do this with me, I back it off a little bit. You're going to notice this very subtle, but you're going to notice it with me. Hey, Dave, I'm cool with that. I appreciate you being open-minded and I've got no agenda, no rush. So you want to meet like in a week, couple weeks, this week, what's good for you?
Yeah, sometime the next 2 weeks. Sure, we can find some time to get together.
Sure. So let's just do a short meeting, maybe a 30-minute meeting. And I'd love to do Zoom just so we can connect and we'll talk a little bit about business. And honestly, my real objective is to find out how we could add value to each other.
Okay. That sounds good.
Okay. So we'll set that on the calendar, right? And interesting enough, most people go into this first meeting like, oh my God, I'm so excited. I've been waiting for this meeting. We're going to talk about this EXP, rev share, stock options, the new logos, EXP luxury, they just start going crazy on them. I'd like you to think if this is your first time ever talking to them, be open to having a 30-minute conversation without EXP. Right? This is difficult to do. But if you do this, you're going to start creating equity in the relationship. And I look at it like a bank. If you go into a bank and go, hey, I need money. And they're like, who are you? We've never seen you before. Do you have money in this bank? No, I don't. But if you start depositing money into that bank, start building a relationship, then you could ask for a withdrawal respectfully. Many of us try to ask for a draw without being respectful to it. So I'm saying get good at the needs analysis, get good at asking Dave questions. I'm going to give you like 3 minutes, just kind of bullet points so you can understand it. But first of all, everybody likes to talk about themselves, right? I'm not setting Dave up. It's just natural human nature, right? So I'm going to say, Dave, thanks for taking the time out today. Is it still a good time to be kind of undistracted? And I appreciate that. I know how hard it is.
Yeah, this is good, man. This works.
I love it. I love it. So tell me a little bit about your business. How long in business?
It's been 10 years.
Okay. And what's your high water mark for transactions?
85, I think was
that's amazing. It's amazing. You're winning awards. You're doing all the things.
Yeah, we're doing all right. Feel good about it. You can always do better, but it's been good.
Yeah. And what were your goals like when you start the year? Do you have big ambitious goals or?
Well, I'd really like to get into 3 digits, I don't know, just to do it.
Yeah. No, I think that's an amazing accomplishment. And do you have a team operating with you? You're doing a lot of transactions.
Yeah, I've got 2 admin and 1 buyer's agent.
Very cool. And so if you could wave a magic wand in your real estate business, like what's one thing you'd change?
Ooh. Well, you can make more money and spend less time doing it. That's always a win, right?
Okay.
When it's busy, it's really busy, and the rest of the time.
I love it. Okay. I love it. So those are 2 things. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So we could separate those, make more money and then make more time, because those kind of go like this to each other sometimes, right?
Yep.
And then I might edify myself. Hey, I've been coaching for 10 years, whatever it is. And if you're not a coach, don't fret on this. I want you to lean on a senior partner. Hey, I know exactly what you're going for or going through. One of my partners, Brent Gove, was the #1 agent in RE/MAX in all of California, #10 in the world. He had a team of $130 million in production, 435 transactions. He's a very good friend of mine. I'll connect you guys. We'll do it at a later time, but I'll connect you. I think it might be valuable for you listening to that journey of his. 23 buyers agents he had on his team, radio show, the whole thing.
Wow.
So Dave, let me go back. The time, how much time are you looking for? Like you said, you get some of your time back. Do you have family, children, kids?
Yeah. I've got two kids, my wife and two kids. And, I
Okay.
mean, you know how it is. It's, when it's busy and you're up early and you get back late, everybody's already in bed, and it's,
Yeah.
they're fun days, but you don't want too many of them strung together.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And if you could change that, would that be high on your priority scale?
Yeah. If I, can always not do it, but,
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I'm not trying to set you up, Dave. I'm actually curious, if you could work a perfect number of hours a week, what would that be?
gosh, I mean, I'm okay with some fluctuation, but I don't know, that's 50, 40, somewhere in
Yeah.
there. Right now, I'm probably doing 60. So, when it's busy, we have, I've shut things down,
Right.
get out of Dodge, but
I hear you. And really, again, there's a lot of leverage in the real estate business. I got some things to share with you, not today, but I think there's some things I could share with you to really help that to understand how to buy back your time and leverage your business. Do you have residual income in your business, whether through investments or rentals or anything like that?
I've got some. Yep. Own some property.
What's some look like? 1, 6?
We've got 4.
Okay, good. And those 4, they bring in approximately what net monthly? I don't want to get into your financials, but just roughly $500 a month each, or you're getting 2,000 a month of residual.
Yeah, it's about 750 a piece.
Okay, awesome. So that's about $3,000 a month. That's amazing, right? And that $3,000 a month comes with a liability component as well, right? You have mortgages, you have water heaters, you have rents, you have tenants, you have all kinds of things. So you seem like a smart guy. You're doing all the things right, and it's just a tough industry at times to get to a point to where you're really sitting on the beach letting the wheels run. And I've been able to do that. I first went on a 10-day vacation and let things break on purpose just to see what we'd have to shore up to be able to leave for 10 days. And that was over a decade and a half ago. And when I came back, Rome was burning. It was literally, my business was burning. So we fixed all those things. And then a year later, we went on a 30-day and we were able to kind of see what's going to happen again. And it was different, different challenges, different things. And Rome was burning again, but we fixed those things. And now, matter of fact, 3 days ago, I got home from a 30-day trip. I got married. My daughter got married. We spent a week in Arizona looking for properties. We went to LA. We met with all kinds of our team and people, and I had no agenda. I had no schedule. Literally, we didn't even know what hotel we were staying in the next night sometimes. And I've been able to create that through what I'm doing now. So I love what you're doing. I want you to do it forever. But if you could do something that created that $3,000 a month income, maybe very quickly, I think you could do it in the next year without having to buy assets, without having to put down payments, without having all those other components on it to add to your investment portfolio. Would that be something you're interested in?
Yeah, I mean, depending on what it is, obviously, creating additional leverage is,
Okay.
makes sense.
And if depending on what it was, say it was perfect. How important that is to you? Again, scale of 1 to 10, can't say 7. 7's a cop out.
So yeah, I would say it's probably a 9. Creating leverage is
Okay.
really, I mean, I understand that leverage, whether it's people leverage or, opportunity leverage, is the way to go.
Okay. So I've got something for you to look at. The intent of this call was really to get to know you, but now that you've said that, I think there's something you really should take a look at. And if you're committed to it on a 9, then I'm willing to match your energy and show you this opportunity. It may not be for you, Dave. At the end of it, you may watch it. You go, oh, I thought it was blue. I like blue. This is red. It's green, whatever it is. It may not be for you. I support that, but you owe it to your
I don't have to sell skincare, do I?
No, you don't.
Okay.
No
Right.
Lotions, potions, and things kept in the garage. But what you do know, you need one thing for this meeting. You want to know what it is?
So,
An open mind. You need an open mind that you just don't have any predetermined outcome of it until you give me 30 minutes. Because I'm going to show you something it's going to be a little outside the box for you. And you may not believe it, but I'm going to lean on math, and I'm going to lean on an understanding of what's really possible. And by the way, now it's a proven model. It's not an idea of a new company. So I'm willing to take you, through that journey. if you're open to it.
Yeah, I'll take a listen.
Okay, perfect. That's good. So, Dave, I want to wrap up the call trying to find out what's the best way for us to add value together. What markets do you operate in? What kind of production do you do? So I'd kind of get a little more information from them. I want to leave it with contribution, and I want to leave it with inviting to somebody, like if I mentioned Brent Gove or somebody else that might add value to that business. I'm going to tell my senior partner, right? Upline is a language, senior partner is a language, depends what you want to say. I'm going to say I'm going to lean on my senior partner to give them the idea of what happened in this meeting. Because if I don't give them any context, they're going to come in like a wrecking ball thinking they're closing the deal as well. Right? So, hey, I've met with Dave one time. This is his pain points. This is the things that he's doing well in his business. I'd like to talk to you about getting him from 85 to century mark and production. That's important to him, right? How we could do that. I want to talk about the Icon Award potentially. So I'm kind of giving him an idea of what he's doing to help me in this conversation, right?
Yep.
So what's coming up for you guys in this role play? What's coming up? I want to make this interactive for you so we can move the needle in your business. This is like that first step of getting comfortable, of having these conversations and getting to a point in the conversation where you can actually have feedback from them that's valuable, and you get them wanting the information or feeling respected in the information, right?
Hey, it's Charlotte here. I hope
Hey,
you
Charlotte.
can hear me.
Yeah.
Don't have my camera on. Hi.
Okay.
So if you don't mind, if I could take this in. So with my this is my boss, for lack of I'm work closely together.
Breaking up
and
a little bit for me.
And
Yeah, hey, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. Yeah, your sound is breaking up pretty bad, so it's a little hard to hear what you're saying. I don't know if there's any way for you to take a step in a different direction.
Yeah, hold on. How's that? Any better?
Sounds better. Let her rip.
All right, let me try that. That any better, maybe?
Yeah, it seems better. Go for
it. Okay. So we're doing a program, kind of, it's like a mid-year mastermind, kind of doing with their business, etc., and an agent by agents for agents. And Lars is going to present, I guess, a little worried about going too much into it and turning people off, like just, because we're so excited about it, being overexcited, and then kind of have them tune us out.
That's such a great question. Yeah, such a great question. Number one, events are key, right? Events build belief. Events are the holy grail to this, probably the whole journey. But there's ways to do events. So if I'm hearing your question correctly, here's what I think is the proper procedure for an event. If you're going to do an event, like if you're truly putting an event out that's valuable to people and that's your goal, is stay in your lane. Yeah. Okay. So just say, hey, we're going to do an event on how to get listings in this market, and then do an hour and a half, or whatever your event is, crush it. You could have panels, you could have speakers, but no EXP. And then what I would do is, because that event you're putting on is elevating you as the expert. It's elevating you as the leader in the area. It's elevating you as the speaker. Make sure you get on stage so there's a presence. That is a natural looking up component of it. And then what you could say is at the end of it, hey, everybody, it's been amazing. I want to be in integrity. I want to stay on task with what we did today, which is bringing you how to get listings in this market. We're done. You're available to leave. Anybody interested in tracking with us and what we're doing privately, we're going to take a little 10-minute break, and then we're going to talk about what we're doing specifically and how we've achieved some of these things, right? So that's a real easy way to transition these two. So the people that are like, I knew it, they could leave and it's okay. They'll respect you for it, actually. And by the way, amazing amount of people will stay, as opposed to if you just transitioned into it, then you're going to irritate people, right? It's that bait and switch. We want to stay complete in integrity with this. And it's okay to say, hey, I'm with EXP. I'm super excited about it, but it's not about that today, right? There's actually mutual benefit in that. You don't have to like not say the EXP words, right?
Beautiful.
And
Thank you so much.
So, and some of those too, I mean, it's okay to do a pure EXP event. If you've got enough people you're talking
100%.
to and there's enough interest, like you guys are starting to get some great traction in Northern Virginia. So people are curious. People are watching people move. It's like you're starting to create that rushing sound where people are trying to look up and go, how come all these great agents are starting to move over?
That's right.
Then it's okay to put something out that just says, hey, we're getting lots of questions, so we're just going to do this all together in one place. If you want to hear, like, so you can skip the first part. Like, you don't have to do a training. But what Randy said is so valid. Just don't do the like EXP explained under the disguise of we're going to train you on something, and then try to slip in the EXP, because they will, you know, that'll turn them off. So it's either pure training and then offer them like, hey, all right, good, we're done. We're sticking around if you guys want to hear what we're doing. Like Randy's script was great. Or if you just want to do the EXP, you can do that. Just don't feel like you have to tack on anything else to it, because those are great. I used to do those, and I did them every week on Wednesdays. It was Wednesday afternoons, and it's all it was. And people came in, and that's all we talked about. And they knew coming in, that's what we were talking about. So you can do both.
And so 100%, right? And as you grow in your area, then you can create this momentum to EXP through your events. Hey, come in. We're going to talk about stocks today. We're going to talk about rev share. We're going to have the model explained at lunch, and we're buying pizza. So it's really two separate things. Just don't blend the two, so you get into that pattern where it doesn't feel good, right? We've known about it. We've seen it, and it doesn't feel good for anybody. You know, one thing I want to talk about, which is just the super obvious to me, is daily accountability. You guys, if you're going to commit to your rev share business, let's just real quick show of hands, or you can put the reaction in there. If you're really, really committed to your rev share business, and this is not a setup question where I'm going to single anybody out and go, you're a 9, we're going to talk about it. I'm not doing that. I'm just like, it's almost like a self-proclaimed, is this something you're really, really interested in, curious about at a very high level, or committed to because you know it's the right thing to do, right? Okay, so I'm seeing obviously reactions. Yes, yes, yes. I don't think you'd be on this call if it wasn't something important to you. But again, I want to coach you for a minute. I've talked about some ideas of how you can change mindset and some of the ideas and stuff, but I want to talk more tactical right now. Some of you are romanticizing the idea of rev share and romanticizing the idea of creating freedom and sitting on the beach and your business being given to your friend and all this thing, but you're not doing the things that are going to require you to get that. And I could break it down very, very simply for you, and I'll give you the math behind it. And it's just, I think it's the difference maker. To me, it's like the one thing, right? I always, as soon as I start coaching people, I look at their calendars and we start talking about what's going on. If you look at the model 2-10-40, that's 2 contacts a day, 10 a week, 40 a month. It's tried and proven over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of recruiters and team leaders. If you focus on that simple metrics, instead of getting like making a big list of 100 and really being focused on those and worry about what your CRM is going to say, and you're just in, you're just in pause mode because you don't know what to do next, just go back to basics and start very simply of having 2 simple conversations a day with people. And you can, I'd argue this to anybody, you could weave that in. I don't care how many hours you're working. If you're working 70, 80 hours a week, just grinding, you still have to drive home. You still have to go to lunch. You still have to use the damn restroom, right? Whatever it is, if you're purposeful about making this list and just reaching out to those 2 people for a live conversation every single day, I don't care if it's 3 seconds long and they hang up on you, it still counts. It's just a math equation then. 2 a day simply quickly adds up to 10 conversations a week. And even if you're completely horrible, if you're like, I don't know, like EXP, can we talk about it? And everybody goes, are you on drugs? Are you having a problem? Are you having a mini stroke? What's going on with you? And then one of them is going to go, oh, I was just thinking about EXP. Could you send me something? And you go to the next step. It could be that easy if you look at the math. But 10 a week, 40 a month, that's 480 a year. It's over 500 conversations a year that you're going to have with people. And guess what? 10% of them are going to be curious, are going to be looking, are going to be open-minded. They're going to lean on your relationship, whatever it is. And all you have to do is press play. The more you talk, the more you lose, right? Unless you're proficient, unless you can get through the thing, whoever talks the most is going to lose, right? So if you're able to just ask a couple good questions and just say, hey, I don't know. I mean, literally, we have somebody that's a really powerful superstar came in EXP this week, and she's like, I need to develop all these. I need to know what to say to everybody. And I go, I want you to say, hey, you trust me, right? Yes. Then watch this thing. All you have to do is hit play. That's it. Because at the end of it, they're going to see the video. They're going to see what's going on. And she's leaning on the relationship to get that portion done. At the end, they're going to say, I hate this. I love this. I'm curious about this, whatever it is. 2-10-40 is the secret. We teach it in every one of our coaching programs because it's the baseline. Now I've got people that are calling 10 and 20 and 30 people a day, or have massive circles of influence, have massive funnels, doing click funnels, you name it. We've got it on all scales. But at the end of the day, we've got to start with the foundational stuff. And if you're not able to carve out, what I don't like is like Brent's story that I built on Fridays for 3 hours. He's very disciplined. Most agents won't do that. I'd rather have small, tiny daily activity that you're committed to. And I always bring it together emotionally like this. I go, can you carve out like literally 20 minutes a day somewhere at the end of the day, the beginning of the day, lunch, on the way back from the gym, on the way driving to a listing appointment, anything? And every agent says, yeah, of course I could do that. Okay, then now I need you to just contact 2 agents along the way and have a very, very simple conversation with them. And I want you to remove yourself from the attachment of this for a minute, because if you can't, you're going to sells it up. And I know it's a difficult thing to talk about, but it is really magical when you get it, meaning that I'm calling you and I'm unattached. If I have an attachment to a close, an attachment to a sell, attachment to one more FLQA or something, it's going to come out. Now, there's ways to disguise it, but the bottom line is you have to find a way to be an expert salesperson in this category, because everybody's heard about EXP now, right? Let's just be honest. It's really a rare occurrence when somebody goes, EXP, never heard of it. I'm like, Arkansas, where are you? So when you're having these conversations, if you're unattached, meaning that you really don't care if they're saying yes or no at this point, you're just trying to judge their temperature. And this hot, warm, and cold is the system that I run. It's super simple. And then I match their energy in that hot, warm, or cold. Hots, they get followed up with immediately to a week. Warm, from a week to 2 weeks, typically that 2-week range. And then a cold every 30 days or so. You can call somebody that hates EXP every 30 days and be okay, as long as you're not EXPing on them again. Right? So that little cadence is perfect for you. And then as you're making these 2 conversations, you're just judging them hot, warm, and cold. Right? Hey, Randy, I respect you. I'm a hard no. Like, I don't ever want to talk about EXP again. That's a cold, but I'm still going to call them every month for the rest of their lives. I have like 5 people now that have come in from 3 years and over. I just brought on somebody that 5 years ago is when we called them. We looked on our Facebook messages and I said, hey, can I talk to you about what I'm doing at EXP? I'm super excited about it. No, 5 years later, they joined. Right? And it's just because I kept loving on them over the time and I gave them a cold conversation. I wasn't like EXP. I'm like, how's your business, man? I care about you. You got married. What's happening? I heard you moved. I saw on Facebook you moved to Oklahoma. Tell me about that. What's going on? And then every once in a while, they'll bring it up. Hey, I know you're calling about EXP. No, actually, you're not ready. Why would I talk about it when you're not ready? And then all of a sudden they become ready, right? This is literally how this happened. I just brought on, I think, probably one of my most promising recruits, because she's a TV star, movie star, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be announced here in the next week. She is so all in. She asked me to get on my calendar 5 hours a week. She goes, I need to learn this fast. Can you like carve out an hour a day for me for the next 2 weeks? And I'm like, yep, I will. I've never had anybody ask me that. That is a winner. That is somebody that's wanting to go big with it, right? Usually it's the other way around, right, Dave? It's like, oh my God, I haven't talked to you in a week. We got to get together. I haven't had a chance to open my emails yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So the real focus with this is just putting the numbers in, right? Does anybody have any like, reluctance is coming around making 2 contacts a day so I can help you through that component and move on to the next step? Is anybody just like, I don't know who to call. I don't know what to say, 2 a day. Is there anybody? And if nobody puts their hands up, I know you're all asleep still. It's 7 a.m. here on the
If
Pacific.
something would stop you from making 2 calls a day, what would that be?
Yeah.
Live question. Lars says nothing. Ain't
Okay.
nothing stopping Lars.
Christy, I'm gonna call people out. Christy, good morning. Welcome to the call.
You're still muted.
You're still muted. She's working on it. It's okay.
Okay.
There you go. Christy, good morning.
I actually was trying to get in.
I love it.
So I'm still fairly new. So
I love it. That's even better because you've got all kinds of stories in your head about how good this is, how bad this is, how hard this is, how easy this is, right? And so
Sure.
I love it because you're very impressionable in the beginning. So what would stop you from making 2 conversations a day to license real estate agents anywhere in the world?
Absolutely nothing. I want to do that.
Okay. So what comes up for you when I say that?
Okay. Here's what would stop me. I don't know what to say.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay.
I don't.
Thank you. That will stop you, by the way. So most agents will do the stuff that's behind the scenes. They'll make a Facebook page. They'll make sure their website looks good. They'll make a list of 100, but then they stop because they don't know what to say. Right? If you're brand new and you're nervous about this, I think there's value in saying that. Hey, Christy, it's Randy Byrd. You've known me for a long time, right? We've been Facebook friends for like 6 or 7 years. Is that accurate?
Yes.
And I would consider you a friend, at least in that world.
Sure. Facebook friend.
100%. I just did a thing. I just joined a company and I really don't even know what it is yet. I certainly don't even know what the initials stand for, but I saw something that I could not unsee and I'm super excited about it. I was just curious, would you take a look at it and tell me what you see? It's not about joining. You're not allowed to join. I want you to look at it from that perspective of like, I'm kind of blind to it a little bit. I think I have a little flashlight in my eyes. Would you look at it for me? Tell me what you see and give me your honest feedback.
Sure.
Okay. Does that feel like it's any bit of a sell or any bit of a weird, wonky bait and switch?
No, I think my question is, where do I get the materials to send people? What is is there a list of things?
That's step 2.
Okay.
So, okay. And step 2, your brain is like, oh shit, I got a yes. Okay. Am I right?
Yeah.
Oh boy, I got a yes. Now what? You know, you don't have to do anything, by the way, if you learn how to leverage your senior partners or leverage materials, right? So number 1, there's several, the model explained with Brent Gove is the kind of the gold standard of the model explained, 30 minutes. It's too long for me. I'm being honest with you. It's too long for me because it's that initial time that I'm looking at it. Unless I get somebody that's like, I'm a coach, I'm moving by the end of May, I'm doing this. I'm like, oh shit, I got it. Here we go. Right. I'm going to get this stuff for you. So for you, step 1 is going through and getting those yeses. And then when they say yes, just say, no problem. I've got a really busy calendar this week. I'll get with you and we'll find a day in the next couple days to a week that works. And then take a breath and figure out what you're going to present or bring in a Dave Conord, bring in a senior partner, bring in something.
Bring in Lars.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Lars is a pro. A
know.
lot of you have Lars. Are you using Lars in that way, right? Are you
Well,
blowing up
Lars was
calendar?
my first manager.
I love it.
And I'm in Texas now. He's in Virginia. 21 years ago, he was my first manager.
That's really cool. You're blessed. But
Yeah.
Lars, would you know what to send them?
Absolutely. And she has it, actually. She has what to send.
Okay.
So, so you
You're
see
right.
my point.
I do have it.
You see my point though, Christy? This came up for you. This is a real thing. And if I had to, guess, I'd say you're probably a 5 or a 6 in this particular area. Go all in on that and just say, I figured out where I'm a 5 or 6. I'm going to make sure I'm an 8 by next week or 2 weeks from now. I'm going to make sure I'm a 9 by the end of July. I'm going to make it important because it's as important as this whole equation of what we're doing.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay.
Do you recommend, is there a handling objections script of any sort?
Yeah, so we have a whole list of handling objections in our coaching program, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I don't want to make it about that. Like I said, I have nothing to sell today. I want to add value.
Right.
But just as you plug into all the Dave Conords and the Randy Byrds and the Brent Goves and the Jay Kinders and all this stuff, you're going to hear things that track with you differently. Right. So like, ask me who has the pyramid scheme thing that kind of haunts them a little bit. You guys are all liars this morning. Okay, Rick, you got your hand up. The pyramid scheme, kind of, it's kind of a tough one to talk about, right? It's that dirty little thing that comes up. Would you agree, Rick? You're muted. You're still muted. I can't read lips, Rick.
I'm sorry, I thought I unmuted.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've had the pyramid scheme, rejection more than a few times. But
love
I've
it.
since seen the napkin presentation, which is mind blowing when you see him draw the pyramid upside down and say, "You're here. This is you."
100%.
I have to master that script.
I love you brought that up
handle it.
because that will change your mindset in the pyramid, but it doesn't change their mindset in that moment.
But if I can explain it as well as Brent can,
that is going to be mastery, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So you want to leverage the video because they mastered it, one.
Yeah.
But here's my response to it. Hey, Rick, so you mentioned it, pyramid scheme. Have you ever had any experience in a pyramid scheme or a network marketing pyramid scheme, anything like that, just experience-wise?
No, I've not.
Yeah, I've had experience, and I feel the same way you do. I don't like them. I think I don't want to carry soaps and lotions and potions in my garage and all these things. But I have a question for you. Do you do referral fees in your business? Are you okay accepting and giving referral fees in your real estate business?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
100%. That's a 10 out of 10. You don't have any objections to that or any, like, you don't feel that's weird or wrong or odd or anything?
No, not at all. As long as they're not selling a bill of goods, which is what I get out of a pyramid scheme feeling.
Yeah, 100%. So that's very interesting because EXP, that's what it is. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's actually a referral fee system. And you said you're a 10 out of 10 and accepting referral fees. That's what EXP is. It's optional, but if you bring an agent into the company, they give you a referral fee.
I like it.
Right. So there's no pyramid scheme to it. Pyramids are illegal. By the way, it's a NASDAQ traded company, a multi-billion-dollar one. And we have one of the most scrutinized set of books on the planet. If it was a pyramid scheme, it would have been, the cover had been ripped off the ball by now. Would you agree that'd be true?
I would agree. And I've actually pointed out that, I pointed out that it's a NASDAQ traded company. It's not, some scam being run out of some guy's trunk, but
yep.
Now we're back live.
And again, you're not doing this, Rick, but let's be careful not to defend, right? If they have an objection, it's easy for us to defend it.
Yeah.
I'd recommend not. I'd recommend agreeing with them. Right? So, hey, Lars, I understand where you're coming from, it being a pyramid scheme. I totally get it because it looks like it is if you draw it on paper, right? The first one's in, get the most and all that stuff. But it really is nothing more than a referral fee system. And then I'd ask them first if they're okay with that referral fee system. So they acknowledge that they are, and then we bring it into it, right? So that's my go-to for the network pyramid scheme thing. And it works every time. Not one time has somebody gone, no, that's not the same. It's just they go, oh, yeah, I never thought of it that way. That's where you want to go with this, right? You're kind of siding with them, but you're also just giving them an example of what it is that we're talking about.
Yeah, hey, Randy. There was one question here that kind of tied in with what Christy was talking about too. Nicole was talking about being a newer agent and how do we have that conversation? And so I just wanted to kind of tie those two together with the concept of, like, Christy, I know you've been in real estate for a while. You've been on a bunch of listing presentations. You're a successful agent, but at one point you had your first listing presentation, right? So if you could think way back to your first listing presentation and what you did to prepare for that listing presentation. And Lars probably helped you. You probably got, someone taught you how it should look, what to say, how to prepare for it, how to get your paperwork together and all of those things. Somebody maybe went with you, and maybe you even went on other listing presentations with someone else to watch them do it before doing it. So what I've learned over time, when I made the switch from sales into leadership in this industry, where I started to have to do recruiting and teaching and all those kinds of stuff, but on the recruiting side, I found that, building that was exactly the same as building my sales business, right? It's a direct parallel. So if you just go, hey, I've already done this, the exact same thing. I'm only now, instead of listing houses, I'm listing agents. Okay. So then just shift that mindset and just bring that parallel right over and then go, okay, cool. So the first time I'm going to talk to someone is kind of like the first time that I went on a listing appointment. So how did I prepare for that? Well, let's see, maybe when someone else, Lars or someone else, is talking to an agent to say, hey, next time you're talking to someone, can I jump on the call and just be a fly on the wall and listen to how you say it? Right. And then study Brent's video too, because that's how Brent explains it. So you're like, okay, I'm starting to just learn through osmosis a little bit. I'm watching other people. Now I'm going to talk to Lars, talk to me, talk to whoever, right? And go, okay, how do I prepare? What do I need to know? How do I do all this kind of stuff, right? And your first job as a new agent is to go get business. If you have a mentor or a manager or whatever, your job is like, hey, go out and find people who are willing to possibly buy or sell with you. And then we'll go with you to go help you do the listing presentation or go do the needs analysis with the buyer and help you get them. And we'll walk you through your first couple of transactions as your mentor or partner or whatever, until you feel comfortable flying on your own. So your job right now is just get people interested, get people willing to say yes, because of your relationship with them, because of your enthusiasm for what you're doing, or because of whatever it is. They go, yes, I'll talk to you about that. And just like Randy said, go, awesome, good. Well, my next week or two is kind of busy, but let's get something on the calendar. And then you call Lars, call me, call whatever, and go, like, oh my God, I got someone to say yes. What do I do? And we go, awesome. We'll go with you. We will jump on the Zoom with you. We will do the conversation. So that's the nice thing, is you can kind of go, look, I love it. This was a great fit for me for a couple of reasons, but like your business is different than mine. And I don't know everything about the company yet. I haven't had a chance to try all the stuff out. So I brought along my buddy who's been with the company longer, who knows all the stuff about it, who can answer your questions, right? Edify them and let them roll. And then you take a back seat. So think of it like starting out again in your sales business. And for Nicole, you talk about being a new agent. Again, same thing for you. Enthusiasm for being here, enthusiasm for why you made the move. Like, man, I found something I think is the best thing in the world, and I would love you to take a look at it. Would you be willing to take a look at it? Awesome. Look, I don't know all the stuff yet, so I want to bring one of my friends who knows all the stuff. They are amazing.
100%.
And if nothing else, the fact that you get to build a relationship with this rock star in the business will help you, and you'll have another awesome relationship. Would that be cool? Good. Let's set this up. That's it.
Great analogy. So listen, who could go on a listing appointment in 30 minutes and nail it for 500 grand or 700 grand or something like that? Everybody on this call, everybody, because that's our space. We could nail it. We can make it work, right? We have presentations prepared. We have all this stuff. We've done it before. It's the same thing with attraction. If it's your first attraction call, lean into somebody else to help you. If you got your first $4 million listing and that's out of your normal, you're not going to go cowboy that on your own either, right? So I want to share something with you. Again, I have an Attract Boss program we do that's coaching. I told Dave I want to keep it contribution based here. This is not a sell, but if you guys want to check it out, this is what we do every day. We do 2 hours of live dials 5 days a week, and we do role play and objection for 30 minutes every single day. It's broker, team agnostic, doesn't matter. As long as you're an EXP, you have to be an EXP. We've had lots of people want to come in from other companies. No bueno, right? And we do it 5 days a week. So you have that consistency. You could plug in for half an hour, 2 hours, whatever. A lot of great value. And we made it $197 a month, so everybody can get in it. My coaching's $1,500 a month, and we had a waiting list, and this is the masses. So we have over 120 people in it, and it's just attractboss.com. And if I could, Dave, I want to share the last thing. Can you make me share so I could just share a little slide? It's like the top key 5 things to do in your real estate business for attraction. You have to make the share available.
Got
there
you.
it is. I got it.
You're good to go.
So I'm not going to do the whole presentation, nothing fancy, but take a picture of this if you could see it. Let me make it bigger. Can you see that okay now?
Yep.
This is just our inside list of what we teach in our Attract Boss program. This is free. This is the 5 steps, right? Make your list of 100 people. Develop your 90-second story. This is probably a really critical piece we didn't talk about a lot today, but your 90-second story is going to edify why you're calling them. Hey, Lars, Randy, we've been Facebook friends for 6 or 7 years, dude. Can I just share like my 60-second story of what I got going on right now?
Absolutely. Go for it.
Hey, buddy, you know, I've been in real estate 20 years, general contractor for 30 years. I started Coldwell Banker because they were the biggest office in town, went to Remax. I loved it, 100% commission, thought I'd never leave, and made it to the #1 agent in town. And Keller Williams came along and I said, I'm 100%. There's nothing you could do for me. And they said, well, we have profit share and we have ownership opportunities, which got me, right? And so I did that for a few years, did very, very well in it. But at the end of the day, it still wasn't living up to what they promised. And, you know, I went back independent. I built another independent 25 agents. And my buddy Brent Gove called me and said, you got to take a look at this new model. And he goes, it's EXP. And I'm like, what does that stand for? Never even heard of it. And the bottom line is I looked at this video and I saw something I could not unsee. And through coaching all these years, I've coached now over 10,000 hours. I've had coaching clients with Tom Ferry for 4 years. I've been at the top of the food chain in the real estate space. I've never seen anything like this. And it may or may not be for you, but I'd like you to take a look at it. Take a look at it for you. Take a look at it for me, whatever feels good for you. But I want to share what I'm doing and find out if it may be a good fit, right? So that's a version of a 60 or 90-second story. You're adding value of why you're calling, who you're doing, and it's really about your connection and the validity of why you would be on the call with them. The next thing is really perfect your scripts and dialogues. Super important. You've got to come down with those objection handlers and feel good about them. You can't get stumped in them because that's that one opportunity maybe. The next thing is CRM mastery. We teach this. It's important to you to at least have some kind of database follow-up so we can hot, warm, and cold them and get them into some kind of sequence. It doesn't have to be super automated. It can just be a reminder, but it's critical for you when you start doing 21040, it adds up, right? 500 people by the end of the year that you've had meetings or conversations with. And then the last component, your presentation. This came up, right? Christy, what do I present? Some of the other people, really mastering your presentation. So when you do get that 30-minute appointment, you can make the best of it through visual, through testimonial, through whatever it is. This is all private to every person. Everybody's a little different, but take a picture of it. If you want, you could check out a Track Boss. As a special gift for Dave, I'll do 50% off for the next 90 days. I don't know how I do it. I'll tell my assistant to figure it out. She always gets pissed when I do that stuff, but come check it out. And so that'd make you all in for $300 for the next 90 days. It gets you access to all the workplace groups, all the stuff. And again, I want this for you. I don't care if you do this or not, honestly. We'll help you if we can anyway. But I think the real secret to attraction, in my opinion, is the accountability component, the disciplined activity every single day, and then circling yourself with people that have known, done it, and have walked in front of you. And then you can't lose. You will not lose in this attraction game unless you quit, period, end of story.
So good. So good. Oh, man, I appreciate it. And thank you for offering a discount to the group. I appreciate that.
100%.
That's one of the coolest things. Did you say 100%? 100% discount. You heard it here.
Yeah, whatever you need, Dave. Whatever you need, Dave.
This is one of the cool things about EXP, though. Randy and I are not in each other's groups or anything else like that. We're just friends. And so jumping on here, sharing all of this stuff and doing everything else. And then he's got his hard-earned stuff that he's put together and saying, hey, look, for your group, you offer discounts. So
yeah. And I'll tell you right now, if you're just totally in a place where you don't have any money and you just, it is what it is. I get it. But you really, really want this, private message me on Workplace. I'll get you in for free. And so obviously I want you to honor that as I'm honoring you, but I don't want to make this about money. And we weren't even going to talk about this, but I think it'd be a disservice to you to not let you know what's going on out there. And, that's what this is all about.
That's awesome. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. And Randy's he's an incredible guy. So if you're not following him out there, go follow him, but just make your circle big with people who are out there doing it, because you'll see and learn by watching and observing and create relationships and friendships and all that kind of stuff. And then you'll run into them at EXP events and you guys can give each other a big hug, a high five, or whatever.
That's right.
Super fun. So
I love it. Build 2 events.
Yes.
We're going to leave it with this. Build 2 events, your own events, lean into the bigger events, the regional events, the EXPCon events, but even the big agent meeting that's going on right now, I'm going to jump into. Those kind of things are building belief in you. They're building knowledge and education in you. Plug in and it will work. I promise you.
And go to build in your local market. Go to build. You've got a build happening out there. I've got a build happening.
I'm running a build on the West Coast in Salem, Oregon. We'll have 1,000 people out here and the lineup is just bananas.
Love it. Love it.
There's you got one too,
Detroit, brother. Dallas, right? New Jersey, Charlotte, LA. So they're happening all over the place.
Yeah.
So make sure you get into one of those. They're going to be great. My brother, thank you so much, guys. Happy Fire Friday to you. Hope you have an amazing weekend.
I love it.
You can't break it. If you care about people and you have conversations with them and you focus on the needs analysis and just how do I help you, you can't break it. They may say no, but unless you're a jerk about it and you EXP all over them, just be curious, do a needs analysis, and just keep doing it.
Enthusiasm's okay. Have all the enthusiasm in the world you want. Just back off the cells a little bit.
Yep.
Appreciate you guys.